Humans have always looked forward technologically. Decade upon decade, century after century, we improve. From structures aligned to stars, to exploring them all the same, we've learned and conquered, survived and witnessed cycles of life come and end. But before it all, before humanity, before invention, what was there? My name is Ice, and this is why you should play Mass Effect. Mass Effect is a sci-fi RPG played from a third-person perspective as you control Commander Shepard, a war hero of various backgrounds that is vying for candidacy in the galaxy-renowned Spectre program. This game is set within the Milky Way in the year 2183. You man the Normandy, a state-of-the-art ship, and lead a growing crew of various alien species and talents as you chase the big bad and unravel a plot that may decide the very fate of existence itself. And with that out of the way, let's cover the technicals. Mass Effect was made in 2007, and back then, they sure knew how to make games. But sadly, EA owns BioWare, and EA put all 3 games into one bundle that can't be downloaded piecemeal and requires you to take the full brunt of it, and also use their motherfucking launcher. The 2007 version alone is 12 gigabytes. If you're playing Legendary Edition, like me, it'll be 110 gigabytes. But that covers the whole trilogy. So I can't really tell you if the space is worth it, but I can at least say ME1 is definitely worth 12 gigabytes and then some. As for performance, it did great. No issues, no crashes, only some weird freakouts to report with the vehicle. Doesn't seem to do well with doors. The graphics options aren't the best, but there really shouldn't be any performance issues running this game. Either way, twiddling what's there might be enough on its own. The game also has keybinds for you PC nerds, me included, and goddamn this game has a lot of meticulous controls. I definitely recommend drilling these into your mind, otherwise combat is going to feel really weird. And on that note, let's begin with combat. It's unique for a shooter, where Halo has you cleaving through aliens at breakneck speeds, and Gears of War exhibits bombastic, visceral destruction. Mass Effect lays into the technical and tactical side of war. You command a 3-person squad of your choosing from a cast of 6 characters. Each has their own predetermined class and abilities, which avoids some of the guesswork and uncertainty some may feel, and lets you build their levels out quite intuitively. No long drawn-out descriptions or hyper-specific buffs, just a simple category with the increases highlighted in a general purpose blurb. And from there, it's teamwork. It is a little confusing, and the ally AI is alright. They're a little dumb, and you do have to position them if cover isn't already nearby, but they'll use abilities on their own, and you'll have to as well. See, the real separation is exactly that. As you level and apply more points to a specialization, you'll unlock these skills that can completely alter the flow of combat. There's psionic abilities that let you lift enemies into the air, others that let you sabotage enemy weapons and shields, while the more analog, supercharged shots and rapid-fire abilities exist for the Rambo role players. Combat can be even further augmented through use of weapon and ammo mods that can, as described, modify your weapons and ammo. But nothing quite evokes that Mass Effect appeal like the drawn-out, methodical gameplay that can encompass an open space. Storming bases, holding corners down in crowded rooms, or even pushing back swarms of enemies during a pivotal moment. You're at war. It isn't combat meant to scare you or slow you down, it's meant to put you between the gunfire, placing your boots on solid ground as the decisions you make on the battlefield hold the very weight of your squad's success or demise. In a way, the combat is the most immersive part, where you feel the uneasy tension building as you run through hallways, swinging your camera side to side as you sweep rooms and lay down pressure. And it's further aided by the variety, whether it be classes or weaponry. The game gives you immediate access to 4 different weapons: pistols, shotguns, assault rifles, and snipers. Personally, I'm a sniper guy, and was really enthused by how snappy the game's gunplay feels, especially in the second half. One of the most mind-blowing caveats is there's no ammo. You do end up having a bit of cleaning in your inventory due to the massive assortment of guns, mods, and armor the game throws at you, but there's no micromanaging ammo. Instead, your gun can overheat from prolonged usage, so as long as you have a disciplined trigger finger or modifications and abilities to cool your weapon down, your capability to fight is never hindered. And it further emboldens all the decisions and methods you can make: run in and fire, or slow it down and bait them. As well, that same freedom and choice isn't only prevalent in combat, but dialogue too. Everyone knows Mass Effect for its dialogue wheel, and while some cases of the yes and yes in a different tone is true, the game gives you plenty of decisions to make. Emboldened by its karma system, Renegade versus Paragon, which essentially boils down to mean or nice, respectively, which is represented by the ability to charm or intimidate people through dialogue to reach quicker means, presented by a blue or red text option. Laying that to the side, those loose systems aren't what makes it special. It's the nature of it. Depending on who you're talking to, the conversation's mood can change drastically. Whether it be a politician, a fellow soldier, or just a simple civilian, your Commander Shepard can tackle these conversations in different ways. It humanizes the interaction, and for a game that's founded on showing you alien life, it's welcome. All too often, games tend to inject comedic relief into any situation to make sure the player isn't uncomfortable. That's just not interesting, in my opinion. I want to feel the weight of my decisions, and I'm offered exactly that. During those bits of silent air while I'm trying to muster up a response, I found myself thinking, my God, how is this going to sound? One particular interaction that really stuck with me was an agitated man standing in the central Presidium Plaza of the Citadel. If you've played, you may recall. If you haven't, I'd rather not ruin the moment. But in that still air, staring at the wheel, I found myself thinking, what do I do? This weight was squarely on my goddamn chest, and this feeling is perpetuated by who the main character is. See, Shepard isn't a truly defined character. Sure, you pick a background, but in truth, you are them. The brunt of this game's question lying directly on your shoulders. Given this choice, can you make the call? Though, there is a silver lining. Those moments where your call was the right decision, where you achieved triumph in the face of adversity, the extra steps and danger you decided to face paying off and allowing you that one moment to just breathe. Especially in the post-mission debriefings where you and your team sit around a circle and talk about what happened, the frequent meetings with the Council holding down your objective, and in general, the very essence of the hub, the Normandy. The dialogue is so great. It's really hard to touch on every conversation you'll have, but this game does something akin to Witcher, where instead of simply pushing objectives on you, it offers you that chance to discuss, where you investigate underlying matters or the more personal aspects of a character. And in this hub, you can do exactly that with your crew. You come to craft bonds with those who may be your favorite or share interests. Mass Effect, much like Cowboy Bebop, throws you in a blender of these tumultuous dilemmas with a crew of motivated individuals tagging along to no end to achieve their journey alongside yours. This seamless blending of camaraderie, decision, and depth round out the core of this game's dialogue. You're going to carry that weight. And in the spinning disk of your device's hard drive, stars align, nebulas collide, and planets form into what is the most outstanding aspect of Mass Effect: world building. I've said it a few times now. I hate character-driven stories. And I know I spent the past few minutes talking about characters, but this game is narrative-driven. And what a nice surprise that was. If you, like me, find it hard to empathize with fictional characters, rest assured. Because my goodness, the lore, the architecture, the design, the delicate passages, all written in detail to help define not even a world, but a whole fucking galaxy. This game delivers such a well thought out premise. It'll cover past history ranging back aeons. It'll define the manufacturers of weapons and armor, the specialized purpose and intent of these guns, the history of planets, settlements, and even atmospheric statistics for planets. This game is heaven for sci-fi nuts. I mean, what utility is knowing the specific gravity of this derelict planet found in an asteroid cluster? It's just so needlessly deliberate for all the right reasons. The game developers, they did something here that very few do. They cared. They researched. They studied their genre and they f***ing mastered it. This is BioWare's first entry in this series, and I can immediately tell why it was a smash hit, and why its legacy still exists today. Even beyond this extraneous stuff, the game does such a wonderful job in representing races too. Not human races, though we are in it. They've shed any connotation of skin color here and instead have coalesced under one pact known as the Alliance, standing amongst 14 other races of aliens. Every race is given purpose. Every race is given culture. Culture, such an important aspect when you're delving into these worlds of fantasy, of hyperbole, of imagination. You cannot create something that is so farcical and just give it a name. No, You have to give it a background, and there is no race in our known world, and I'd wager our known galaxy, that doesn't have culture. Whether it be the warrior mentality instilled in the dying race of the Krogans, the almost Islamic philosophies of the Quarians' pilgrimage, or the inquisitive nature of the Solarians, everything has history, everything has tradition, everything feels real. I say it quite often. Sure, it's just a game. But I'll be damned if I'll give my time to something that abides by that. No, Mass Effect sought more. They wanted to be fun, but they wanted to be interesting, to welcome you into something that could be real, to believe in this future where we found our microcosm on Earth is a smaller amalgamation of our greater galaxy, and that our species alone is what drives our sense of pride. A fledgling race, the youngest among the Citadel, seeking a foothold in this galaxy, entrenched in small colonies, vying for our existence, and our right to represent ourselves among the Council, a greater political power. BioWare did their homework, but beyond that, they imagined. An imagination so fierce its scope reaches well beyond into the past, attempting to define the cyclical nature of our galaxy, attempting to shadow its evil not within the hearts of man or alien, but the unknowability of mechanical comprehension. I know I say you should play this game, but you need to. The twist, the liberty they took, it's mystifying, and among it all, there's this natural sense of discovery. Despite everything being so intricate and some bits fed to you through dialogue, the game hides things and makes you plot points yourself. This is especially apparent in the quest logs, where they'll give you the main objective, the location, and a briefing on where you should be and who you should interact with. This aspect works so well, because beyond that written description and those conversations, you have to traverse these environments on your own merit as an explorer. It helps create fondness and recognition, where you'll most likely first find yourself lost in the Citadel until you notice all the orange arrows highlighting where it's pointing. In a weird way, it's like a shopping center. Your first time, lost in this massive complex as the background noises of conversations and music ground you to your feet. But then the second time, third time, you build confidence in your memory and recall places and directions, then start walking around as if it were second nature. This is present in every world, where side quests will splice multiple conversations and encounters. It all aids in creating a sense of familiarity and making you pay that much more attention to what you're doing. Calling back to another sci-fi title, I love Fallout. I love the contained nature of the apocalypse, the background of the resource wars, the secretive presence of the Enclave, and here, Mass Effect makes its unique stamp on sci-fi. An iteration I've never seen, and in that one encounter on Virmire, everything you thought you'd understood changes. So, I guess it's time for my opinion. I loved this game. Holy shit, it was good. It's short though, and it definitely feeds into a sequel, but since it's old and the sequel already exists, I don't see that as much of a negative. Regardless, the ending was satisfying enough, especially since they let you decide how you want to cap it off. Also, Keith David is in this game. Yeah, so it's a must-have. I did have a few gripes, but nothing major or anything that ruined the experience. Though being honest, the game will feel a little dated. The combat is fun and has its own layer of depth, but without higher difficulty, it won't press you to learn it like a FromSoft game would. The dialogue is fantastic for the most part. There weren't many moments that felt pointless, though some options are on rails, and the cutscenes and overall presentation is fantastic. All these beautiful JPEG backdrops dotting every planet you visit. It's just such a treat, and a testament to its art direction. You'll notice poorly coded reflections that scream 2007, but for me, I was inspired by that feeling of tangible passion. They wanted to dress it up. I felt the love permeating from this game, and I think you would too. But atop it all, the music. The main menu specifically is such a chilling, mystifying rend, like you're in a spaceship peering out, floating gently, awaiting a command to take off towards your next destination. And the music that plays when scouring the map, that small build with a very calming bass note and the fading in synth underlined by a mellow flute, it's beautiful. It evokes exploration. The game wants you to discover and realize how gorgeous the universe is. The swirling decadence of the music matching the arms of the Milky Way as you sift through these foreign locales. This game feels nostalgic. I hate playing older games because of this. The constant reminder things aren't as they were. New games can be great too, of course, but a new idea, a new world to explore, a new experience to unearth, that's what Mass Effect gave me. In all, this game's an 8.5 out of 10. I have to be fair. There is jank, but the experience, there aren't many like it. And I'll tell you right now, there won't be. As for my gripes, pretty minor. The vehicle controls are fucking awful. I don't know why it's set up to drive according to your camera's orientation, meaning if your camera is pointing sideways, you have to click A or D to go forward instead of just W, and during combat it really hinders maneuverability. Inventory management can be a bit of a slog too, especially as old equipment piles up, but it does have a handy dandy trash can icon to quickly discard everything. Still, just takes a bit too long sifting through junk, and in general, level design wasn't the best. The game spent a bit too much time in corridors, especially rushing through them, where it instead shined the most in open air and wider arenas to give you a greater sense of scale during combat. None of these are experience altering, and the game is more than serviceable and heralded as one of the great RPGs, for good reason. Mass Effect will take you probably 20-ish hours if you're going for just story. Otherwise, you can probably expect upwards of 50 hours of enjoyment engaging in all the side content, and especially attempting different playstyles. The 2007 version alone is sold normally at $30, and the Legendary Edition containing ME1, 2, and 3 is $60. Both are absolutely ridiculous. It's a great game, but come on, ME3, the most recent one, was made in 2013. It's been a goddamn decade. I'd say wait for a sale or look elsewhere. I think a good price for ME1 alone would be anything below $10. And Legendary Edition, maybe shoot for below 30. Anyways, thanks for watching. You know I always appreciate it. I had such an unexpected blast with this game that I ended up scrapping a different idea for this as an audible. I just had to talk about it. The last bit of payoff was amazing. I really hope you experience it for yourself because I'll definitely be playing ME2. But first, a segue game and other projects ahead. I think I've got an idea for my how-to video, and it's on a topic within games that I really appreciate and love. Something that seems lost on some folk. So my goal is to hopefully impart some knowledge and maybe bring a new appreciation to it. Otherwise, the art direction video is still in the works, and beyond that, part 7 for my journey into Dark Souls 3. I think the next game I'll play will be a bit more niche. I'm currently looking at Hollow Knight, maybe LA Noire, or returning to Nostalgia Central with Final Fantasy X. Don't know if you got this far, but let me know what interests you the most. Hope you have a good day and enjoyed the video. Bye-bye.